Hello, my dear folks. Welcome to the show. My name is Jack Chow on the East-West Show with G&E TV. We try to cover every aspect of our life. In life, we're talking about shopping. Speaking of shopping right now, you must be doing shopping in a crazy way. Take my son, for example. He wait there for a whole night to get something, a shirt or a sweater. Oh, no, I think that's very crazy. But anyway, young people like to do so. Anyway, every time you shop, you need a bag. A bag at least, or bags, right? So these days, we're talking about plastic bags instead of the old time paper bags. Should we go back to paper time? Should we continue with the plastic bags? There is a law that's assigned already to be active, to be effective, coming as early as January. However, there are, as the beauty of democracy, always different voices. One of the different voices is to take a more serious look at the issue. Are we doing the right thing? Are we not? So with me today is my new friend, Eric Eisenhammer. I hope I pronounced your name right.
You did.
All right, very good.
Glad to be here.
Yeah, he's the founder and the CEO of an organization called Coalition of Energy Users, right? So welcome to the show.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
All right, very good. Well, shopping bags are a big issue. If you talk about the 300 million population, everybody does let's say just a grocery visit, right? Or not a massive, large scale holiday shopping, just a grocery visit. You're talking about at least 1 or 2 bags, right?
Absolutely.
Every single day. So take that to apply that into a population of 300 million, though, you're talking about a big number. And then if you apply that same philosophy or same concept of math to the whole world, though, you're talking about 7 billion or 7.6 billion, or if not 8 billion bags per day, right?
Absolutely.
That is one thing. But how is it heavily related to the quality of our life, though? That's a different story. Okay, now, there's a take, there's a retake, there's consideration, there's a reconsideration, right? That's the beauty, like I said, of a democracy. I would like to ask my friend, Mr. Eisenhammer, to state out the overall picture about the law and the problem the law is attacking, and the consequences after the law attacking the issue, and so on and so forth. How do you picture it, please?
Yeah, we've got, here in California, legislation was passed, Senate Bill 270, which will ban plastic bags and will tax paper bags at 10 cents per bag. And that's only here in California, so people in other parts of the country, like they say that things that start in California go other places. Well, it's possible if anybody's watching from somewhere else, they might look at this one day too in their own community. And this was passed in an interesting way, where a backroom deal was made, dealing with that 10 cent per bag tax.
What deal?
A backroom deal.
Backroom deal.
Backroom deal. Meaning that the $400 million that will be collected by this tax does not go to the environment. Instead, it goes to grosser profits. So they get to keep the money and just add it to their bottom line. And that is a lot of people concerned. So citizens are saying that, wait a minute, there are a number of unintended consequences, and there's a number of issues related to SB 270. So they are working on qualifying, and we're part of it, qualifying a referendum that people would get to vote on the measure and say, well, do they agree with our legislature for banning plastic bags and taxing paper bags? And do they agree with the specific law? Because it could be that they agree with the overall concept of banning plastic bags, but they might say, well, the way that $400 million is being allocated to profits, maybe they agree with the concept, but they don't agree with that portion. Another aspect that's very important is it puts 2,000 jobs in jeopardy. There's 2,000
The
jobs.
bag industry.
That's right.
The bag
the
industry.
manufacturing.
And the plastic industry.
Yes,
Right? Okay.
that's
At the
right.
time when we needed jobs.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, okay, very good. Okay. Now, it's my way of going into issues. I always try to peel the onion layer by layer until I reach to the very core. Though, it looks to me on this issue too, we're looking at the onion, the whole onion. Though, number one, we're talking about the ban of plastic bags. With this, we have the benefit, we have the impact, we have the consequences, both positive and negative, right? Say, if we back, say gasoline industry, petroleum industry. Now we know about 90% of the pollution is created by gas. I mean, by gasoline, by automotive use of gasolines, consumption of gasolines. Should we ban gasoline? Should we not? Right? Or should we try to add ethanols or stuff like that to reduce the emission of gasoline or so on and so forth? Try to get a smart point. So, and then this being the first layer, right? The second layer, though, when you shift yourself back to paper bag, to the old time, though, well, it was an evolution from paper bag to plastic bag, right?
Yes.
People were synthetic, right? And everything synthetic, such as my eyeglasses or even the lens, right? Everything, your wristwatch band, everything, right? So now, should we go back? Because they cause pollution, they damage the environment, right? Again, this is layer number 2. So number 3, when you apply the 10 cents per bag, call it a tax or tactile or whatever you may call it, number 1, could people afford it, right? Number 2, where does the money go? Right? Does the area that money go help the problem? For example, you have a wound here, you put your bandage on the right-hand side. So how about this, right?
Right.
All right.
Well,
you have a head pain, you take some food medicine, that doesn't cure you, right? Things like that.
That's right.
Can we please, Mr. Eisenhammer, let's go layer by layer to see the bare core of the issue without adding anything on, right? So how do you assess the problem caused by plastic bags?
I think that's a debate. Personally, I believe, I know that myself, when I get plastic bags at the supermarket, I save them and I use them for things. I like to take my lunch to work.
Most people do, yes.
They do. That's actually, they found that. They even did a study,
Yes,
found 90% of people do that. You know, what I do is I use them for my lunches. I take my lunch to work in a plastic bag. It's a good way to, I've got soup, I don't want it to spill, so I put it in a plastic bag. People use them to line waste paper baskets. They use them to pick up after their pets. They use them to hold wet umbrellas. So you have to ask yourself, well, if you ban plastic bags, or in the sense of you ban plastic bags that you can receive for free. Well, how are you going to line your waste paper basket? How are you going to pick up after your dog? How are you going to take your lunch to work? You're still going to need a plastic bag. You'll just have to buy it. And
probably we should go back. Oh my God, I should probably ask older people way back when plastic wasn't invented, what people do with their trash.
What my parents did is they put it in paper bags.
In paper bag. How about wet trash?
The larger trash, like, you know what? I don't even know.
I mean wet trash, right?
Wet trash.
Wet trash, right?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
I think my parents put it in paper bags too, in fact, and that didn't work that well. But that's at least what I observed for myself.
Yeah, that's quite an issue. Back to the point that I just made, we know those plastic bags are what they call indissolubles, right? Or non-dissolvables.
Biodegradable, I think, is the word you're looking for.
No, I know the old word, the old term saying that is never dissolve themselves.
Got it.
right?
Right. Yeah.
It's non-dissolvable, probably that term, non-dissolvable. Right?
Which is why if I spill some of the soup in the bag, I don't need to worry about it.
Yeah,
That's
of
why I
course.
use the
And
plastic
also,
bag for my
yeah,
lunch.
to look at that point though, let's compare the damage made by plastic bags to the damage made by the emission of gasoline, right? So, are we quitting that too? Are we quitting the petroleum industry too?
I think when you mention the emissions, I think that's actually something that people should look at. I think that's a good point. I think that's relevant because one of the facts that people don't realize is a paper bag is bulkier than a plastic bag. It's actually at least 4 times bulkier in terms of, so you have to think about the amount of energy, the amount of gas, the amount of fuel that's needed to truck bags to supermarkets. And the amount of bags, paper bags, that you can fit in a truck is only about a quarter of the amount of plastic bags you can fit in a truck. So we could actually see a lot more emissions resulting from going to paper bags over plastic bags because the plastic bags are just so much smaller. So there's that aspect. There's also the aspect of we originally went to plastic bags for environmental reasons. We went to plastic bags because we were concerned about deforestation.
And also to get to the issue, to gasoline problem, to gasoline emission problem, or car emission, automobile emission problems, we instead of quitting, instead of banning on the usage of gasoline, we created other routes. Other route being that we add alcohols, ethanol or ethanols to the gasoline to soothe, right, the problem, to bring it to an amicable point. Now for that, I hear the same thing. I have a friend, her name is Haiti something, I forgot. She was once on the show talking about her technology of creating those dissolvable plastic bags, which when buried under earth or something for a certain period of time, it will dissolve, well, water soluble, something like that kind, right? How about another approach? Anybody putting any efforts in that approach with the same amount of effort as they ban the plastic bags? So as far as you know?
Yeah, that's a great point. In fact, a lot of plastic bags companies are already doing things like that in the area of biodegradable plastic bags.
Oh, biodegradable. Yes, that's it. That's the term.
You go to Whole Foods and they have plastic bags made out of cornstarch. So I think you're absolutely right. I think rather than just going to the most extreme solution of a ban,
you're right.
It's sort of like freeways. We've got freeways, and there's negative issues that can happen on a freeway. We need freeways, they're very important, but there also are possibilities of things that are not so good, like accidents. So what we do in order to minimize the potential for negative events is we have rules. We have speed limits, we have safety rules, people are supposed to use their turn signal, things like that.
To a switch, right? To a switch. All right. To my audience today, we're talking about plastic bags, which is an important part of your life. I believe everybody uses that. Right. Yes. Let's take a short moment now. When we come back, we'll continue the discussion with Mr. Eric Eisenhammer to talk about this issue. Let's see who we're facing a right decision or we're taking the right route. So stay with us. We'll be right back, please.